Hi there, Craig Hocknull here, out here at GlenArbor Golf Club in Park City, Utah, where I'm the director of instruction on this beautiful fall day. We're going to talk about getting out of fairway bunkers. So, where the camera's situated here, where you are, is in a high lip on a fairway bunker here on the 18th fairway at GlenArbor. Here's my ball. I've hooked my tee shot off the tee. It's come to rest here. Now I've got a very long shot. It's 250 yards almost from here out of a high lip. Getting your ball far down the fairway isn't always the best approach out of a fairway bunker, because this lip here is going to cause me tremendous troubles. If I strike my ball straight into the lip, it could plug, it could hit and roll back down, and now I've just wasted at least a stroke, if not two. So I've got a 6-iron, I got a pitching wedge, I've got 250 yards left. If I take that and cut it in half, that leaves me with two 125-yard shots to get me to the 250-yard number that I need. I'm just gonna play smart. I'm gonna hit a nice solid pitching wedge, which should easily clear the lip. I'm not gonna mess around and try to take a long iron or a fairway wood and try to hit it out of this bunker to get it all the way down there. So I'm gonna chuck the 6-iron to the side, and let's talk about how to hit this pitching wedge. I've got a good lie, but maybe let's say I've got one up here a little bit closer to the lip. Pitching wedge should still be sufficient. The thing about getting out of fairway bunkers that most people mess up is they try to actually lift the ball and try to hit it out. They try to scoop it. So what ends up happening is, as that club is being scooped up through the ball, you tend to top it. And if you pick it clean, you're kind of hitting it out more like a thin shot, right? So let's say you were out in the middle of a fairway and you thinned it. Well, it usually comes out with a low trajectory. That's not going to help you get out of the bunker. So I'm going to share with you a couple of tips that I use to get out of the bunker. One, I try to make this resemble the fairway shot. I don't try to make it any different than hitting off the grass. So I come in, I'm going to take my stance, and I'm going to get my club as close to the back of the ball as I can without touching the grass. What I will do, and I'll describe it in this direction, what I do is learn this from Greg Norman, watching a Greg Norman video as a kid growing up in Australia. You just take your back foot and you edge it in just a little bit like this, and it creates what I feel like is a stronger position to make a backswing. So a lot of people ask me, well, is that allowed in the sand? Are you allowed to dig your feet in that manner? And the answer is yes. You're allowed to what's called fairly take your stance. I can fairly take my stance by digging sideways. You see that all the time. I can fairly take my stance by digging the corner, right? What you're not allowed to do in the rules of golf is say, create a stance. So I can't like create an edge, mound up some sand here, pack it down and then stand on it. I'm not allowed to do that. But I can fairly take my stance however I choose to do that. So what I'm gonna do, come in close to the ball, take my setup, put my pitching wedge close to the back, take my stance. You notice I'm gripping normal length. Normal length. After I've kind of got myself aligned, sometimes what I'll do, which is a cool trick in the bunker, is I'll step out of my stance, I'll come back behind, and now I can see, because I've left an imprint in the sand, I can see where my toes are pointed. So in this case, it's correctly set up. So I'm going to come back in, right back where I stood, put my club back in position, take my back foot, angle it in just a little bit. I might do this a little bit also with my left foot, create a nice solid platform to hit from. What I've done, however, is I've just buried myself maybe an inch into the sand. So the last thing I'm going to do is grip down an inch on the club. After I grip down an inch on the club, I'm basically pretending now I'm out on the grass, take more normal golf swing. I'm not going to try to lift or pick this pitching wedge out. I'm just going to swing normally. Should be enough to clear the lip, no problem. My pitching wedge normally goes about 150 yards here in Park City. If I hit it 150, great. That just leaves me a 100-yard shot into the green instead of 125. If it doesn't, I know I've split my yardage equally. Should be able to hit my next wedge onto the green. Okay, so here we go. All right, nice solid contact. Probably gonna go about 130, 40 yards maybe. So as you can see, good solid contact. That was from a relatively flat section right here in the bunker. Now I'm on a slight upslope. Well, if your pitching wedge came out at this angle from the flat, it's probably going to come out at this angle from a slight upslope, as long as you follow these techniques. Taking your setup on the slope is important. What you don't want to do is neutralize the slope. So you don't want to be leaning left, you don't want to lean into it, you just want to set yourself up on the slope, which is now in this direction. Pitching wedge should still be enough to clear the lip. I'm going to follow the same steps. Take my setup, put the pitching wedge in here pretty close to the back of the ball, take my stance, edge my back foot in a little bit, slightly dig my front in to feel more secure, grip down 1 inch, and then trust my swing. Right, so that's pretty natural. The strike on the slope isn't always that solid, but nonetheless it came out because step 1 in choosing the proper club ensured that I was going to get out of the bunker rather than trying to take a 8-iron or something from here and then accidentally hitting it into the lip. So hopefully those tips will help you next time you're in a fairway bunker. Make the right choice, give yourself a firm platform to hit from, grip down just a little bit, and just trust your swing.